So the examiner asks you a question and you're like, in your head, you're thinking, I know the question, I know the answer, but I just cannot express it. Or if you have experienced cold sweats before an exam, or vomited or puked on the days leading up to an exam, then my friends, it is time to end that right now. What's cooking, sapiens? Welcome back to the tribe. If you're new here, my name is Arham and I'm a 5th year medical student at the University of Oslo in Norway. Firstly, we need to acknowledge that having a certain level of exam anxiety and stress is completely normal. It's a humane reaction to a high pressure or high stress environment, aka exams. However, when that exam anxiety increases to this level where your exam performance directly starts to deteriorate because of that is when you know that this is becoming unhealthy and something needs to be done. The very first thing that you can start doing from this very moment, like right now, right here, is to trick your brain, because our brains, my friends, are much easier to fool than we like to think. You know, you might have experienced all these optical illusions which make us feel like a fool, like an idiot afterwards. Now the hack here is that you substitute the word exam with the word quiz. And that's because the word exam is actually associated with a lot of risk. It's a high stake, high risk word. When we think of an exam, we think, oh, the stakes are very high. If I fail my exam, something bad might happen. It's a very heavy, powerful word. Quiz, on the other hand, is a much lighter, much more casual, less stressful and low stake or low risk word. I mean, just thinking that I have a quiz in 2 weeks is far less stressful than actually thinking I have an exam in 2 weeks. You see what I mean, right? Obviously, to convince our brains, repetition is absolutely essential. Saying this once will not help. You have to keep doing this, make this into a habit and repeat this throughout the semester. Keep telling yourself that I have my quizzes. I don't have an exam, but a quiz. And over time, you will surely see the results. The next hack is to be the boss. Now, here's a story from my 3rd year of medical school. So I was placed at the emergency department at this hospital, and a patient came in, and I was the one who was supposed to take arterial blood gas on the patient, which means I was supposed to draw blood from his radial artery right here in the wrist. And man, I was terrified. And that was because I had never done this before on a patient. I had only practiced on mannequins. So I was absolutely scared. So I went inside, with the doctor right beside me. He was supposed to supervise me do that. So I took the needle and I told the patient to relax, even though I was low-key peeing in my pants. I was shaking, my hands were like literally trembling. So I put the needle inside and tried to draw blood from the artery. However, I failed. I did not meet the artery. And then I tried to maneuver the needle to see if the artery maybe could be a little bit on the left. However, I failed completely. I did not get the blood. And then the doctor took over, and it took him like 2 seconds to get the blood from the patient. I went to the same doctor afterwards and I asked him how he was able to do this so easily. And he gave me this one single tip that he had received from his senior. So he said, before you go into a room with the patient and you're supposed to perform any medical procedure, be it blood gas or anything else, just take a short moment, 5 seconds, stand there, take a deep breath and tell yourself that you are the king. You are the boss and you are going to nail this procedure. The very next day, I got another patient who I was supposed to take blood gas on. So I went inside the patient room with the same mentality that I was told. I went inside to be the boss and I got the blood on my very first attempt. Since that very day, I've been using this exact same hack for everything in my life, be it exams or anything else. Before I do something, I think, I'm the boss, I will kill it, I am the king. And if this hack does not work, you can literally unsubscribe to my channel. Just kidding, just kidding. The next thing I do to reduce exam anxiety is to practice Socratic dialogue with myself. Now, Socrates, if you haven't heard about his name, was one of the biggest and best, greatest philosophers to have ever lived on earth. And here's an example of a Socratic dialogue. So I have this negative thought before an exam that, okay, I am not prepared for this exam, and that is causing me a lot of anxiety. Now, the question that I need to ask myself in this scenario is that, okay, why is it so bad that I'm not prepared for my exam? And the answer is then, okay, well, because I might fail. And then you ask yourself the question, well, why is it so bad that I might fail this exam? Well, that's because then I have to resit my exams. And then you ask, okay, and what's the worst thing that could happen if you had to resit or retake your exams? well, then other students might think that I'm not smart enough. It's a taboo to fail your exam, so maybe I'll get stempeled as somebody who's not smart or good enough to be a doctor. Okay, but you still got into medicine just like they did, so why is it so bad if they think you're not smart enough? Well, I don't really know. Like, I mean, if anybody else failed, I would not judge them. I would instead be willing to help them. So, like, I guess it's not all that bad. So if you keep asking yourself this question, that why is it so bad? What's the worst thing that could happen? Then eventually you will reach a point in this Socratic dialogue where you will be like, is it really that bad? And that is when you will realize that oftentimes things are not as bad as we like to think. It's all in our heads. We are too harsh on ourselves most of the time. The next hack is to think that this is going to be fun, not scary. Now, as a kid, you might have experienced that excitement when you were supposed to show your result card to your parents because you obviously scored very well on your exams, and you're like, okay, time to show my parents the result card. The excitement was real. And now you might have felt the same exact fear, the same feeling, but in terms of fear, when you had to show your parents your result card when your result was actually suboptimal, and you knew, in your head, you knew that you were going to get this. Fear and excitement give you the exact same adrenaline rush. However, the response to this might be very different. Fear makes you nervous. It clouds your judgment and actually makes you doubt yourself and your abilities. On the other hand, excitement and the exact same adrenaline rush might make you more confident. It enhances your judgment and really makes you believe in your abilities. So I repeatedly tell this to myself before every single exam, that I am excited for this and this is going to be fun. And why should it not be? Because I have been through multiple exams through my entire life. I have been through the exact same tension multiple times, and it has mostly gone very well. And not only that, hundreds of students take this exact same exams every single year, and most of them do clear it the very first time. So now I should be excited that it's finally my turn to get done with this as well. The next hack is to understand the dichotomy of control. Now, this is a concept derived from Stoicism. So in life, generally speaking, there are things which we have in our control, in our hands, and then we have things which are not in our control. I love this algorithm by Gaur Gopal Das, which can be applied to every single aspect of human life. So do you have a problem in your life? No? Then why worry? Yes? Well, can you do something about the problem? No? Then why worry? Can you do something about it? Yes? Then why worry? So the point being that there is nothing you can get out of by worrying or stressing too much in life. So can I control what comes on the exam, or what questions is the examiner going to ask me? Obviously not. So if I can't control it, if it's not in my hands, and if I can't do anything about it, then why worry? But then there are several factors which actually I can't control, like not being a waste man before my exams, actually studying hard and doing my best and not cramming, changing my mindset the exact same way I described in the previous points. So all these things are in my control, and I can actually do them to make the exam as less stressful as possible. The last thing that you need to understand is that this does not define your success in life. And I know this sounds very cliche, and you have heard this a sick amount of times, but you just can't seem to digest this one single fact, because we have been hardwired from a very young age to think that school success, or success in terms of grades, directly translates to success in life. This, my friends, is not the case at all. Grades only and only reflect on one single thing, and that is your ability to focus, sit and romanticize with your books with good discipline. Grades, however, on the other hand, do not reflect any of the other factors and abilities which are absolutely crucial for achieving success in life. Like your never give up attitude, your resilience, your ability to believe in yourself no matter what the circumstances are, your skills, your self-belief, and your decision making ability, and I could literally go on and on and on. So the very last thing that you want to be doing is to think that you are a failure just because you did not get top grades in your exam, or you just failed one exam in life. Everybody has to go through some downfalls, so do not worry about that. I promise it's going to be fine at the end of the day. That's a wrap for today's Sapiens. Now here's another video which you might find useful, and before you leave, kiss the subscribe button. I'll see you guys on the other side. Take care. Peace.